Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome to the Marketing Water Cooler. My name is Jeremy Francesi. Let's dive in. Steph, what are we talking about today?
Let's talk about how assumptions are killing marketing.
This is a recent thing I've been thinking a lot about. So here's the thing about marketing, that sometimes logic is like common sense can be so valuable in marketing. And sometimes I think we get so caught up in just like wanting to do our job and make decisions that we forget to step out of our own way. And so this is going to be probably a tighter, quicker episode, but I want to talk about how assumptions are killing your process. And I'm going to tell a very specific story with a client. I'll explain why it matters, and I will explain how we addressed it ahead of time to save them a bunch of money, a bunch of time, and ultimately set us up for success when looking to do paid media, running campaigns to drive leads and traffic to the website. But it starts with getting rid of assumptions. And so I'm going to frame it this way. We're working with a client that's in the healthcare space. They're a service provider. People pay them to provide a service within the framework of healthcare. Now, they've been in business through their affiliate like 100 years, right? So their organization's a little bit newer, but the macro, like the parent organization, they've been in the community for, I think, 123 years. And so they're really a part of the community culturally, as well as just as professionals that have been in the space. And we were going from content strategy, content marketing, all organic. And it was time to really shift gears and go on offense. So they were looking at how much money can we put to running paid media, Facebook ads, et cetera, and go get in front of our buyers, go get in front of our community to drive traffic to the website and set meetings to talk to potential buyers and ultimately drive sales, right? And the challenge was, when you start that process, you break down a couple of very key things. And most of you, especially if you're a marketing leader, you're gonna be like, yeah, Jeremy, I get it. That's obvious. But you're gonna talk through who are we trying to target? What are the personas, demographics, right? We're not running one big ad. We're running a bunch of little ads to go very specific. The content then resonates in the individual audiences, right? Instead of putting up a billboard, give them a message. And so from that framework, we are talking about what message resonates with the target audience, and then what content needs to be created to tell that story. And when we talked with the business owners and the executives, they immediately had answers, because some of them have been working there for 15 years. So they immediately had answers of, well, we want to target these people, and this is why people buy from us. This is why we get hired. And we started going through a laundry list. It was like 5 to 7 key things. Factors that influence the buying process. And in this situation, keeping in mind, we were talking about these things to build the foundation of the strategy, to put money into a campaign to go get business. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so all we did was ask them at the end of that, like, based on what you've shared with us, you're telling me that these are the top 3 reasons people buy from you and hire you for your services, which CAV, like the annual customer value, is about $50,000 to $100,000. So to give context, the scope of the business, right? If you're talking about a multi-million-dollar deal, this applies even more for you, to be honest, right? And we asked them, like, okay, these are the 3 main items that it sounds like are going to resonate. Do you know that? Like, is that a fact, or are you just, that's what is that your opinion? Like, where did you get that answer? That was the question. And both of the people on that call were like, I mean, like, we've just been here. We know our customers, we know our audience, we know the people that work with us. And again, back to episode, whatever it was, when I explained my background of like working from nothing to something, like, I refuse to spend companies' money, clients' money in ads in any capacity if we haven't done enough of the legwork to build confidence around testing, right? We can control some of the guesswork. Some things we need to test and iterate, but we can control some of it. So I asked him, like, how did you get those answers? And it was all just personal anecdotes. None of it was facts. I'm like, look, I'm not going to spend any of the money you're reallocating from print and traditional media to this until we go talk to the customers. So we put together a very simple survey. It was not complicated. We didn't sell them a survey. We're like, we're not running your ads until you do this. And we just put it together and we sent it to them. And it was like 5 to 7 questions that was tailored to their community. And it just said, look, in our attempt to continue delivering on our promise of delivering an incredible X, fill in the blank of their service, we'd love to understand what influenced you to move in with us, to buy from us, to hire us, right? Healthcare, assisted living, that general framework. And it was five different things, from community to culture to home maintenance. Think about the logical reasons people in that stage of life hire somebody to help them with that stage of living. And we asked them on a scale from 1 to 5. It was just circle the number 1, 2, 3, or 5. 1 meaning this did not influence your decision to move in. 5, this significantly influenced your decision to hire us and move forward with the agreement. So we have an idea. The survey, 100% of it proved their assumptions wrong. So what's the point? The point is, I understand the value of wanting to come up with the big idea. I understand the value of wanting to build the campaign and rolling it out and feeling like this is amazing and productive. But you got to ask somebody in your boardroom has to ask, what assumptions are we making that could cost us the success of this campaign? Somebody has to stand up and say, what assumptions are we making about the things our customers value, the reasons they buy from us, the thing that makes them stay? Somebody has to stand up and say that, because the truth is, if you're not talking to the customer, everything you are doing is based on assumption, which is a terrible strategy. So we got the survey back. We look at the survey, said, look, 57% of people said this significantly more than anything impacted their decision. That thing was number 4 on their list of things that mattered. The number 2 thing, 46% or something like that, percent of people said that, a 5 on this factor. That 5 or 6, the 1 and 2 that they listed were the last 2 on the list. And so here's the punchline to close this out. If you're a functional owner, then this is very important, because it's hard sometimes to hold your marketing department accountable for revenue generation because they're so focused on brand awareness and reputation management. This is a good way to look at the ad spend and the execution of it, even if you haven't run the cash yet into the system. Ask them, what assumptions are we making? Have we talked to the customers? Have we understood what they value? Now, here's the other piece. You have to be willing to be proved wrong, or you have to be willing to take the information and use it to reframe why you're attracting that kind of customer, right? If you're not getting the customers that you want, and the ones that you have are saying they bought from you because of a reason you don't necessarily think is a good reason from your standpoint of your unique value proposition, then that tells you something with your marketing is wrong. You're attracting people to buy from you based on things that you're not leading with, right? It's a little convoluted, but like that's good information. It tells you something's not right. I'll give you a very specific example. If you're trying to market to big companies to sell big deals, and the majority of your company, your clients come to you and they're low dollar value clients, then your marketing is off. Sure. If your average customer value is $4,000 and you're targeting 6-figure accounts, that's very important data. So to close this out, and Steph, if you want to echo anything or probe here and throw some things in here, like the punchline is get out of your own way. Marketing, you have to talk to the customers. One of the first things we do when we get involved with companies is ask for, if they're working with the government, CPARs. It's a performance review from the contracting officer. I want to read what they said from the deal when they worked with you. I want their words, not yours. I'm not interested in a CEO saying, oh, we're amazing. Right? I want to know from the people you worked with. I want to talk to some customers if I can. It can be virtual. It can be 15 minutes, but you got to talk to the customers. You got to get the boots on the ground. And the ability to do that is going to simply save you a ton of money, a ton of time. Let's play the scenario out. If we didn't do that survey, we put together a multi-set ad campaign targeting based on things that we thought would resonate with that target buyer. We spend a couple $1,000s to start small or whatever it is each month. We go 90 days. It doesn't work. It doesn't generate leads. It doesn't generate demand because it didn't resonate with them, because it was all assumptions. They're out a few $1,000s. Our team made a bunch of creative. Now nobody knows why it's not working. And we have to have a conversation around how the next time is going to be better. When the truth is, there's only so many variables in ads. The audience, the creative, and then the like type of campaign you're running. Brand awareness, lead conversion. What are you trying to get them to do? There's only so many things to do, right? But if the whole thing's built on an assumption, then you're going to lose 90 days. You're going to waste a ton of money. And it's going to be difficult with the relationship, because the truth is, That's a vendor's, that's our fault for not telling them to do a survey, not the client's fault. You're paying me to be right and to keep us in track.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're starting to spend a lot of money and do a lot of things and you're just going to market and just starting to put out content and nobody has said, hey, what's the customer think about this? You need to take a step back and think through, because once you start that content engine, once you start making things, once you start doing things, I promise you, all of your attention goes to like, is the creative good? That's not the right question, right? Again, the best book ever written was determined by the reader, not the writer. You got to know who's reading the book. Okay. So anything you'd add, anything that I can expand on that's different than that? Again, this can be a tight episode, but get out of your own way. I promise it'll help you. Okay,
no, I'm just sort of wondering if there are any like common sort of misconceptions and assumptions that are made, like some sort of very specific ones, perhaps.
I think people want more than they know. And what I mean by that is they want X to be the value that people see in their product because it's their baby.
Right.
Right. Look, if you are a business owner and you spent 4 years in VC funded potentially to build this software, it's heartbreaking to find out the thing you thought was your special sauce is a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
It's heartbreaking. And I understand that. Like, I built something that I spent too much, like this was my junior year of college into senior year. Back into junior, senior, and then into leaving college and after college for a little bit. And it was a software play. And look, it failed. It failed. I'm okay saying that, right? We didn't lose a ton of money. We were super lean. I learned a tremendous amount about business and team and customer. Like we didn't talk to the customer. We built the entire thing in our basement, then went to market and realized we didn't talk to the customer.
Right.
If we just talked to the customer, we would have not needed an iOS and an Android app. We would have gone with a web app. We would have licensed the software to the clients instead of trying to split the gate, right? And like we would have designed the entire business differently, and the whole trajectory of the company would have been different.
Right.
So I'm not talking about this from some, third party that's just seeing. I'm telling you, I have personally made mistakes, invested money, and realized that you got to get out of the boardroom. You got to get out of the meetings. You got to go talk to the customer. And if you're a marketer and that freaks you out, you got to figure out why. Because your job in marketing is not just to brand and put out content. It's to engage customers. Now, the salespeople may be responsible for the dialogue and the conversion to revenue. But if you're in marketing, like you're the host of the party. The salesperson isn't. The host is just the person that's tending bar. They're like, you know what I mean? They're just the one that gets them really locked in.
Right.
You're the host. You're the one at the front door. You're the one saying, Diane, thank you so much for coming to hang out. What can we do to make this night special for you? You're the host. You got to know how to talk to the people in your party. And so the biggest common problem is they want more than they want things to be the way they are. And they're typically afraid to go figure out if it's not true, because then they have to change everything. And it's okay. It's heartbreaking. I understand it. But would you rather be heartbroken and positioned to succeed, or very confident, full-hearted, and ready to go bankrupt in 18 months because you're selling a product based on a value that is not truly unique and valuable?
Sure.
That's probably the thing I'd lead with.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'll echo is based on echo. Like, don't create an echo chamber in your marketing, right? Like when we come in, and I had a call with a recent client about this. That's a cyber firm, and I was talking to them, and it was the CEO, it was their head of business development, and a number of their other folks, and on different calls, right? And it was like, what makes you guys so special? What makes you guys crush, right? Like, you're gonna go from 100 something mil to 400. Like, what makes you so unique? And there was a lot of anecdotes, and a lot of it was really valid. A lot of it was really heartfelt. Like a lot of it was like, I could tell they meant it. My point being, just because you mean it doesn't mean your customer cares or recognizes.
Sure.
The reason we're doing 3 episodes a week, 10 episodes in 10 weeks, like the reason we're cranking is because I understand that 90% of people that even may have heard of us, they don't know what we do, how we do it, why we're different, because they don't have to yet. They don't care.
Right.
Like the market doesn't care until they need to care. Right? Or there's a reason for them to care. And so I think we need to get out of our own way and talk to customers. We need to respect the fact that what we think and what we want to be true may not always be true. And when you build strategy predicated on assumptions, the strategy is going to be frail by design, and the cash infusion into that campaign can only be so effective in driving a return.
Right.
And especially if you're going from nothing to something, like you haven't done anything with marketing and you're in that journey of, do I hire somebody? Do I outsource it? What do I do? your step needs to be get informed on what is it that we do that's relevant? Why are our existing customers hiring us and valuing us and staying with us and recurring? Why do they love us? Then figure out, is that the reason that we want to be true, or do we need to reposition ourselves? But you got to be willing to open your mind up to alternative perspectives. Otherwise, you're going to create an echo chamber where your social, your LinkedIn, your paid, everything's just saying, we're amazing, we're great, look at us, we're awesome. And your customers just do not care. And so you got to get out of your own way. It's okay to make assumptions. It's not okay to sit on them and build the entire marketing strategy with them. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
It's okay to have a little bit of like, I really think in my heart that this makes us unique, right? Same way with hiring people. Sometimes it's okay to trust your gut, right? It's okay. Trust your gut. That's probably what's gotten you to the position you are a little bit, is trusting your intuition. But you can't build an entire strategy on instincts and assumptions, because to be honest, if your customers love you, they'll talk to you about it.
Right.
And just to close it out, turn it into a case study, interview them for 30 minutes, record the conversation, transcribe it, turn it into a piece of writing about why'd you hire us? What was the problem you were solving? What was the result of that problem? And what made it so successful? So that even when you're getting your feedback, it's now creating more marketing material to create a case study about a customer success that's going to now fuel more marketing. Like, think about how to design the feedback for efficiency, not just going and asking for a favor from a client to say, can you just tell me what it is that you like about us? Right. So that's what I got. Anything else?
I don't think so. That sounds pretty good to me. I think go with that age-old term. Assumptions make an ass out of you and me. So just don't do it.
100%. Right. You got to get out of your own way. And I think or run a couple campaigns like that are really low value on it to test it. But you have to have marketers have to be willing to be wrong. It's okay. Like, you got to be willing to hear new perspectives and figure out, is it correct? Do we need to reposition? Why is that happening? Too many marketers are too afraid of the no, that they just put out ideas like crazy because they're like, this is all amazing content. And it's like, that's not your judgment call. Right. But look, that's the punchline. Get out of your own way. The assumptions can be killing the marketing process. Same thing goes for like assuming who you're trying to market to. If 85% of your deals close at the decision maker level and all of your content's designed for the user level, then your assumption is to like, CEOs aren't reading these papers or this video or this, like, well, maybe your data says otherwise. So again, go get the information, but you guys know the deal. Look, the Marketing Water Cooler is designed to do a combination of things. Like, we want to bring you very specific, actionable insights to help you move faster, be better, and get more out of your marketing and comms efforts. And sometimes it's as simple as helping shake your head a little bit and say, look, get out of your own way. You're crazy effective at what you do, but sometimes you got to go ask customers for their perspective to activate what it is that you're so good at doing. And then outside of that, we'll fold in some folks and get some interviews in here. But get out of your own way, challenge the assumptions, and we'll be back for more. Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you liked the video, smash the like button and hit subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the new episodes. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We will fold them into future episodes and make sure that you get the help and the answers you're really looking for all things marketing and communications.